all deities are not as ruthless as we've been taught. A few months back, I was heading to Eziago for a festival with, my friend T-Boy, basically, Afrochives. So we're going to an Ado festival, and we had to take a cab. We got to New Market, Enugu, and we took a cab. So when we got into the car, the driver happens to be a Christian, and he started to pray. He started the prayer, and none of us, because we were like two guys and me, none of us in the car actually responded to the prayer. We all sat down, like, smirking and looking at each other and smiling, because we know that where we are going to, Christians don't like it. But we did not really say anything, so we all kept quiet. The man said his prayer, and they ended the prayer. We still didn't respond, and he kickstarts the car and he starts driving. So along the way, we had to start this conversation because we were trying to buy petrol, and we got to a filling station, Northwest filling station, and the whole place was crowded. The whole place was really, really crowded, and the adjoining filling station was empty. So the driver was now like, you see this kind of people, that how is it that it's only one filling station that is booming and the other filling station is empty? So I was at the back looking at, trying to understand where the man is coming from. My counterpart, my friend T, now said, what are you now trying to say? Like, you're trying to bring this narrative that the owner of this Northwest is using one kind of charm or juju to boost his filling station. The man said, yes, now what are you expecting? Of course he's using charm. That how is it that every other filling station surrounding Northwest is empty, not even a single vehicle, and Northwest has this whole queue, that he cannot believe that the man is doing it by the grace of God? So my friend was like, are you serious? Like, these kinds of narrative that we continuously push when somebody is being successful, and and we're like, okay, onya hejegoje. But if we actually look at it, it could even be hard work that the person is now reaping the fruit. And besides, we don't have this whole full information, so why should we instigate or insinuate that this person, the owner of Northwest, is using charm, or he did some rituals and is operating with it? So eventually we ended our conversation, and we started to drag it further. Then we now got to a point where we now had to tell him that everybody that you're carrying here, none of us are Christians. That as a matter of fact, we are going to an Ado festival. An Ado is a deity, Alose. So he looked at us and kind of kept quiet, and was like that we he tried to get us to repent. He tried to demonize what we are doing. So at some point he now said something like that a deity, if you go to a deity and you're not offering your everyday sacrifices to a deity, that the deity would kill you. Okay, something snapped in my head. I was like, Oga, have you gone to a shrine before? Have you gone to pledge something to a deity before? He looked at me, a woman. Women should not be asking this kinds of question. He looked at me and he said, have you gone to a shrine before? Because maybe I don't look like somebody that have gone to a shrine before. He now said, have you gone to a shrine before? I said, as a matter of fact, I've gone to a shrine before. I've made pledges in a shrine. But what the shrine did not do, and what the deity did not do, the deity did not come and kill me. I'm still alive. He looked at me again. He didn't know what to say. But I said, but you've not answered my question, because I want to know, how do you know that when you go to a deity and make pledges, the deity is going to kill you? He could not answer that question. So you see this narrative where it's coming from. Most of this narrative about how Igbo deities are ruthless, how Igbo deities can kill you, would smite you, will make you useless at the cause of your misfortune, is coming out from people that have never gone to deities before. people that don't even understand how a deity work, the reason why a deity or deities are being instituted in Igbo land. These kind of people don't have any idea about how to approach a deity, but they are eager to tell us that going to a deity equals to death sentence. That if you go to a deity, you're trying to yoke yourself with some devil that is going to seek something from you and your generations and your generation yet unborn. And when you don't meet up with your own part of the bargain or your own aspect or your own pledge or whatever, it's going to come back. Retributive justice, it's going to come back and it's going to kill you. It's going to make your family. The whole concept about generational curse. But if we are being honest, let's look at the Western world. Let's look at slavery. Let's look at the Nigerian government. Let's look at the 1967, 1970 genocide, Igbo genocide. Or let's even look at Rwanda, the Hutu and the Otu war. So all these kinds of people that meted out these kinds of gross injustice, are they not suffering? Why are they not suffering from generational curse? But why is it that it's only when you make a promise to a deity and you don't keep up to the other end of your bargain of the deity, the agreement that you made with the deity, somehow the deity is going to afflict you with some sort of a generational curse? So these narratives increase fear in the life and minds of Igbo people. It makes sure that Igbo people do not go to the relevant channels, relevant medium, when they are trying to seek for blessing, when they are trying to seek for protection, when they are trying to seek from something from a higher power. They channeled all this interest into the church. Then the typical Igbo man relies on what is being said in the church, forgetting that these ones existed before the church. Now, another story I'm going to tell, because it's as if I'm here for like story times. Another story I'm going to tell us here is like most of you now, if you're a returning subscriber, well, this is practically what I do. If you're new here, this is what I do. I research Igbo spirituality, Igbo cosmology, and I spread the word, try to make people understand what ordinary is and what ordinary isn't. So in one of my research, one of my sitting down, observing and discussing with these Akajofo, Dibias and all of them, so he told us of a story that the deity in my place, that somebody came into the deity, jumped the fence, I picked the lock, whatever he did, went inside the deity and stole a red cap that was placed on that deity, where they molded the effigy of that deity, and placed a red cap on his head, symbolizing an ichie, onions and also with the ugo feather, the eagle's feather that was attached to the cap. This person stole that kind of material. Now, the reason why he stole it is that the man said that most times, most Dibias, if they want to do a strong work, if they want to do some kind of some kind of strong works, that what they do here is they will send somebody to go and steal. If you want a material, you can go to the deity, use kola nut, and they'll allow you to take it. But because they know that what they are trying to do will not be sanctioned by the deity, they will go and steal. Maybe if it's a sand that is from the obi of that deity, they will steal it. Now, in this case, is the red cap and the feather that was attached to the effigy of a deity. And mind you, those kinds of materials happen to be energized with some kind of a cosmic energy, because some of these places, our people will tell you that so what happens here is that you can prepare or configure a charm, but for that charm to be active, you certainly need to invite a spirit to aid you in making that charm work. So most times after they've done preparing the charms outside of the deity, they will now bring it and keep it in front of the deity. We call it HRK, to activate, to wake up, or to energize. So already that cap, I don't even know how long that cap has been there, but this person scaled the fence and stole that cap. So my company, my friend there was not like, if it is him, he would go around and start telling, because the deity has children that are also deities. It's just as if we have like a family tree, and each of the members of the family are actually deities in my place. So my friend was like, if it is him, he's going to go to each of their houses, each of the deities, and inform them and tell them, look at what is happening in your father's house. It's an abomination that somebody will scale the fence and jump in and steal from your father, and you people are not doing anything. The elderly man was looking at him. Young people, we are hot-blooded, they want to like rats. So the man was calm, allowed him to finish. He now said, if you're done going to all those places that you want to go, Ezemewi, which is the name of the deity, will ask you, am I blind that I did not know that something is happening in my house, that you'd have to go and invite my children? He is quite aware that somebody stole from him, but he would not, because a child behaved like a child, he would not treat that child like a child. He would not use because a child did something he's not supposed to do and kill him. And people say it's not when a child pours away a tiny bit of oil that will flog him or beat him or hit him or spank him, but when he now throws away the container of the oil, that's when we would have to smack him. So what the man was trying to say is that Ezemewi, a deity, is aware that somebody stole from him, but at the same time, he's not going to try to kill the person to be vengeful. No, he's going to act it as an elderly person, as an Okenya. He will take his time. What he knows is that that person or his lineage will definitely come back and pay and kind of bring back what they stole tenfold. That's a fact. But what he's not going to do is to look for, not even look, kill the person. Maybe as he's trying to like lift the cap, he will kill the man there. No. The deity just, like play this cool. So another story he now told me was another, and kind of the Ezemewi with the son, Uzube. The people who enter, not even people, one man though, will go to his shrine and steal livestock that they tied there that they want to use for sacrifice or rituals the next day. So the person kept on coming like over and over and over again, stealing from this deity. But the deity did not do anything. The deity kept quiet. So the chief priest there, out of anger, went outside. Did not even tell the deity what he wanted to do. Just went outside and configured charms, brought in charms, different kinds of them, like all of them, brought them in and tied it to the entrance of the deity, the obi of the deity. So what the charm is supposed to do here is that the charm is supposed to hold each day, hold the person that is coming to those shrines to steal stuffs. So when after he was done putting all those charms in the shrine, at night when he was sleeping, the deity came to him and now told him, why is it that I will be in my house? Ogu. In his dream, the deity came to him and asked him, why is it that I'll be in my house and this charm will be telling me to go and kill? Kenke una norobem ogwa na asim jegbuo. So this was what the deity was telling him. So the deity now warned him and now told him that he should, before the cock crows or before whatever, go into that place and remove that charm that you left in my house. So the man woke up from the dream, was still like trying to process. And a dibia in my house, from my place, the dibia, we know him as somebody that deities interact with or often, called him on the phone and I told him Uzukbe said that you should go and remove that thing you kept in his house. Now that dibia is now aware that he kept something like that there. But the deity sent him a message and told him to tell the Akajofo of the deity after revealing it in his dream. The man went there, used kola nut, and apologized. And told him that it's not that we are going over your head, but these kinds of art, on a mezifere, I'm always embarrassed. Somebody will come to work and I'll, keep my lifestyle, all this kind of thing now. So, when they were done, praying and telling the deity they want to remove the stuff, they removed the charm first. Then what they now did next here is to now tell the deity that he should go and catch the person that is doing this thing. That if he doesn't, they would not celebrate his new yam for him. So that was like a much needed challenge. Then after a while, one of the chief priests there, because there are three chief priests in that shrine, one that is very elderly and two that are not that old, but much older than me, because I was a child when I used to see them around. So the man said that he was sleeping and something kind of woke him up, that he should go to Uzube, the shrine, he should go there. So when he now got there, he just kind of laid back. No, he didn't even know if anything was. I just laid back. And all of a sudden, he saw somebody, jumping the fence and entering into the shrine. And was now going, moving by the side, sneaking inside the shrine. And the man from the back, he wasn't even holding no gun, nothing. Went through his back and hit the man on his back. He said that him hitting the man on his back made the man to just fall down. He said he didn't understand why the man just fell down and remained there like static. No charm, nothing. Just hit the man just fell down. Then he called others, they now tied him, and they now did the necessary rites and rituals and and settled up with everything. So, for me hearing these kinds of story, and I'm like, Igbo deities, we've been taught that they are ruthless. We've been taught that if you do something you're not supposed to, the deity is going to smite you, the deity is going to kill you. How is it that these deities were able to pardon people that came and stole from them and allowed them, give them these long chances to undo what they did? Because even the Isi Ezemeri was telling me that a man came from Aba and was telling him that he's been having issues and went to Afa, and Afa told him that his reincarnator stole something from that particular deity, and that's why he's here. That he's not even from Anambra, he's not even from Nnewi, but they told him to come here. The man came, the man asked the deity told him what the man stole. The Akajofo confirmed the story with the man. He said yes. They now, embarked on the journey of reconciliation. Imezihari here maybe. And so these kinds of stories are stories that I hear, and I keep thinking, why do people think that Igbo deities are ruthless? Whereas when you come to them, when you embrace them, when you understand how they function, you will know that they don't function with fear. Fear is not how they function. Deities don't even want you to fear them. They want you to respect them. The only scenario that I was told that a deity killed a woman is a woman, a family issue. The land, the family itself, are the only family where the deity can pick an Akajofo. So that family is actually the custodian of the vast land that the deity is entitled to. But the deity leases those lands to the family members or people from outside, because Oife Obodonwe. but there are people that are at the forefront. So when these kinds of people, another set of people now came and wanted to buy that land from the Akajiofo, the man refused. That the money was quite huge though. They called all this money. The man said, no, you're not going to put me in trouble, because he knows that's like a huge no. Don't even go there. When they give you something, you're not supposed to sell it, except it's something that is going to benefit the community. Now the community will collectively come together and say, nah, please, we want to use this land for so and so, like how we did in Onkwonewi. That place was originally dedicated to Edo Newi. It's still called Abuedo up to this day. Now the address there is Edo Ezemewi. You see, we did not forget that land is still owned by a deity. Her shrine is still inside that market, and people still go there to do the normal rites. Even church could not, stop it from happening. So unless we need that land as a community for something, we can collectively come. But this kind of a sale was a backyard sale. The Akajiofo refused. And the family members were all, Giniko, you have to sell, this money is this. So one woman stood up and one woman was like, no, how women act in some of these cases. And she was now challenging the Akajiofo. Mind you, the man is like aged. Now challenging the man, challenging the deity, that there is nothing the deity would do. Giniko. The man did not even say anything. The man did not even officially informed the deity about what was happening. The man kept quiet, and he said that after the woman said that, like it wasn't even up to a month, right in front of the market, because the deity owns that market, right in front of that deity, very close to the Okumwa, the Abo, the woman just slumped. Before they could take her to the hospital, that's it, she's gone, just like that. If you like, say it's a heart attack, no problems. I'm not going to argue. But Igbo deities are different from what we've been taught. We've been taught fear, forgetting that they are more merciful than we can actually fathom. That's why when we spoil something, it may be a fair, it may a sonso. If you commit an abomination, you have the option of performing the rites of Epuaro. Now these are cleansing rites that allows you to come back in a state of grace with the deity or whatever entity or power points that you desecrated. These are chances that our ancestors gave us. Now, when it comes to these deities fighting or seeming to be wicked, seeming to be merciless, they aren't merciless. What is happening here is that these deities that were instituted in our families were done for a specific purpose. If you understand the purpose of that deity in your family, you would have to understand the need why to acknowledge it is important. If your ancestors instituted the deity because of omomo, because of progress, because of wealth, now, whenever you people fail to do the necessary rite as promised by your ancestors, the deity is going to withdraw itself, allowing you to function and grow on your own. Now, if there was something that was the cause of your family being stagnant, once the deity withdraws its protection, it allows that force, that malignant force, to continue from where it stopped. That's one instance. Another instance here is that while our ancestors were instituting these deities, they never imagined that there will be such a time where Christianity or Westerners will tell us that our ancestral way of life is demonic, that our ancestral way of life is the reasons why we are suffering, is the reasons why we are not progressing, the reasons why we are not being civilized. So while they were doing these things, they were saying, do this for me, do this for my generation, do this for me, do this for my generation. Now currently, Me now as a traditionalist, I cannot go to a deity and say, do this and do it for my generation. No. Because I lived in a time where we broke those kinds of promises. So the only thing I could say is do it for me. And if my children decide that they are not going to do it according to how I'm going to teach them, no wahala, don't hold this against them. It's me and you that were having this agreement. When they get to the age where they understand, then you can now deal with them according to how they understand you. So this is the difference between then and now. But in those days, our ancestors were very much inclusive in those promises. That's why now those deities have performed their own part of the bargain, but you or your family, you are not keeping up with your own aspect of the contract. Like I said before, if you're dealing with your fellow human being, you guys had a contract, and one party fulfilled his or her part of the deal, and you refuse. What are you going to do? If you answer that question, you understand why deities or ancestral spirits are, basically angry. But aside these instances that I gave, ancestral deities, Igbo deities are not merciless. That's why when you recognize or you notice what is happening, you can now appease them. I think imezi ife maybe. Now, the veneration of deities or the acknowledgement of deities is not something that is being shoved down our throats. If you wake up one morning and you decide, I don't want to acknowledge this thing, I don't want to acknowledge this PowerPoint, the right thing for you to do is to involve Igbo practitioners, the dibias that know how to handle this PowerPoint. And a donor more, we call it a donor more, to take a spirit back. So when you know that you don't want to venerate this PowerPoint, you don't have anything to do with this PowerPoint, the only thing you should do is to involve those chief priests that know how to take back the essence of these deities. If you decide to go through the church, through the Western, way of handling, things like this, what you're going to do here is to destroy the interface. You're going to destroy the physical thing that you're seeing, which could be the effigy or the urban zoo of such deity. But you've not destroyed that deity. What makes that deity a deity is still there. Even if you cut down that tree, that thing is still a spirit tree. It still belongs to that deity and it's still there. So when you want to take out these kinds of PowerPoints, you communicate with individuals that this is their specialty. They know how to handle it. Provide them with the necessary funds, the necessary materials, and they go and they will take it back to where it's coming from. That way, all party involved is happy and nobody is feeling desecrated. And at the end of the day, we'll all go home with a smile on our face. So until next time, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. We talk about Igbo spirituality. We talk about Ordinary Igbo. So if you're interested in content like this, please hit the subscribe button. Comment, like, and share this video. And until next time, yeah guys, yeah.